TVWAN.
Digicel TV, home of rugby league. Dial *515# to subscribe.
Hello and welcome. This is the Midday News. The team tasked with retrieving the bodies of the passengers of the P2-SEM class last Sunday are hoping for a positive outcome today. When giving an update late yesterday afternoon, Morobe Provincial Administrator Max Bruton emphasized that the weather has proven to be a challenge. He said the team attempted to retrieve the 4 remaining bodies at Sapmanga yesterday at around 7 a.m., but the helicopter was unable to get across the range. They waited, then made another attempt, but to no avail. The team is anticipating fine weather today to retrieve the 4 bodies. The bodies, which were bagged and tagged by Sunday, December 29th, will be flown to the Manalos Aviation Hangar in Leh, then taken to the morgue at the Engau Memorial Provincial Hospital for a forensic team to continue investigations. As the year 2024 draws to an end, the spirit of giving must continue into the new year. On Monday, the inmates and staff of the Bomana Correctional Services were presented with food rations from 2 business houses in Port Moresby.
Under trying times and economic hardship, the need to help others goes a long way. 2 business houses in Port Moresby saw the need to reach out to the Bomana Correctional Services. On Monday, the LSO group of companies and JMAT Group donated much-needed food supplies to the inmates and staff of Bomana Prison. Bomana inmate Albert Osama said the donation will go a long way with keeping prisoners nourished and gives them a bit of hope in humanity while behind bars.
All inmates na all wait court. Thank you. You give him the mibla. Time mibla stop now. How sick bed you can look at mibla talk thank you. Mibla stop lo Karabus, you can look at mibla talk thank you. Mibla stop lo isla community rejecting mibla. Society rejecting mibla. But big man Leven, I'm not rejecting mibla. Big man staff want him all management, all staff you, all people you.
Accompanying the representatives from each business house was member for Moresby North East, John Cowper. Mr. Cowper donated 10,000 kina to Bomana Prison and made a commitment for a new ambulance for the facility's residents. Cowper stressed the importance of rehabilitation and challenged the inmates to embrace change while behind bars. Susan Oreape, TVWAN News.
The country's largest prison facility, Bomana Correctional Institute in Port Moresby, is facing an increase in the number of inmates this year compared to previous years. In 2024 alone, over 900 inmates have been recorded, of which 500 are still awaiting trial.
Bomana Corrections Facility in Port Moresby has the highest number of persons in remand. More than 400 inmates who are currently serving time include female prisoners, juveniles and those in high security unit and maximum security unit. Acting Correctional Service Commissioner Bernard Nepos said the 500 in remand are putting stress on the limited resources that the facility has, and the judiciary must process their cases immediately. Paul Stephen is an inmate. He was given an opportunity to speak on the conditions of the prison cells. He hopes those in authority can look into this as well.
Overcrowding, and it is the reality. Overcrowding emotion, mibla sleep until one plan narvla. And it lo bed narvla sleep, until lo bed narvla sleep, until lo bed narvla sleep. But pathway logo pot corridor logo on toilet na display a man pull up na sleep stuff. So some summary offenses, Justice Department, Attorney General, Chief Justice only lo look savvy. Some man come out the more legal crimes and look na Rausimul man lo court fine. Rausimul man sorry dolgen stop no long community. You need long pull up na staff in cell na budget me one time na CS but run down the budget. I'm sample something we brother staff in cell look savvy. All sample we need lo court bail, give court bail. Talk to one time hierarchy lo give court bail na. Me black and pine in Belize environment me can conducive long me black and stuff. Because at the moment I'm colonial building 1942 or something. And so maximum prisoners lo staff in cell on one cell M25. The number now staff in cell one cell plus staff M178, M190, even 110.
Commissioner Nepo says the number of prisoners has increased recently. There were about 500 to 700 inmates in previous years, which is a grave concern for both inmates and wardens.
Strong blood challenge where house kalabus emi got now, and you know long bomana tasol but go long over the house kalabus inside long country blomipla. And so Sambla Senis mi come up long parliament na goal sem mi plan need long rausim or plandi or mana Mary or li come stop inside where in the first instance all by non up stop inside long and also Sambla time court system be mi fairly click because planned time court delaying process gonna only stop long blood time inside of banish. In up long stop national court them 1 year no got abrushing 1 year 2 3 4 5 years go on up.
Bomana Prison Commanding Officer Yeli Oyufa said most of those in remand have spent years in prison waiting for the cases to be tried. He says it is unfair and pleads with the judiciary to prioritize these. Susan Oriape, TVWAN News.
In regional news, over the past week, the anti-prison system has risen by dozens of people, with the anti-government unapologetic for the crackdown of crime, the surge in prison numbers and the crash put on prison. Staff has meant rehabilitation programs have been sidelined.
A new year approaches with no end in sight for the NT's prison population crisis, as jails hit an all-time high and still rising.
We are in very high pressure and the numbers are through the roof, and we are working hard to come up with solutions.
All of our facilities are at maximum capacity and watch houses are full.
In just over 2 months, 228 more people were jailed, 84 locked up in the 5 days since Christmas.
Today's total prison population is the highest it's ever been. It's 2,598. And that's a significantly high number for the Northern Territory.
24 prisoners yet to be sentenced were moved from Alice Springs to Darwin on Friday in a bid to free up beds in police watchhouses, only for them to be filled again over the weekend. A shortfall in prison officers starting to bite, with education and treatment programs the first casualties.
Something gives eventually, and for us that's things like education programs. If we can't deliver them at certain times of the day or week, it might be issues around, the right approach to treatment programs over time.
The government's so-called prison master plan begins here at what used to be the Dondale Youth Detention Centre. It's now back to housing adult men, with 106 recently moved into 2 blocks. With the government promising 3,000 new prison beds by 2028, the year of the next election, it has a New Year's message for those found breaking the law.
If you are ordered to go to a detention centre, there will be a spot for you, because keeping the community safe is their #1 priority. And I make no apologies for that, because the community is unsafe right across the Northern Territory, and we're elected on a clear mandate to fix that.
Despite the holiday period, there's no moment of rest for those on the prison's front line.
2025 is right around the corner, and with the festivities comes the trends for travel. Emergency services are urging the public to do the right thing and bring in the new year on a positive note. Some revelers have arrived early to secure their spot for the fireworks.
To your vantage point for New Year's Eve, a sentiment shared by the head of Sydney's train network.
Get here early, get to those vantage points or where you've got to go early, because it is really important that you allow that time.
With the trains running as usual, around 1 million people are expected to converge on Sydney Harbour for the fireworks, with more than 1,000 boats in prime position. Whether it's on the water, in the air or on public transport, police will be out in force across the state.
What you don't want to start 2025 is in the back of a police truck, because I can assure you that's where you will end up if you come in to do the wrong thing.
Even with the rising cost of living, many revellers have still made the trip to Sydney to try to catch a glimpse of the iconic display.
It's the best fireworks in the world, so why wouldn't you come here? The difference will be, I think people might be spending less time and perhaps going for a more budget-conscious accommodation, etc.
Not everyone will be getting their fireworks fix here in Sydney. Big displays are also planned in Gosford, Wollongong and Newcastle. Whatever the city, the countdown to showtime is starting to get people excited.
I've heard so much about the Sydney fireworks and I'm just super excited to see them.
But I feel like Sydney's just such a bucket list, so yeah.
I'm excited if I come to see.
In sports, Taekwondo in Papua New Guinea enjoyed much success on the international stage, qualifying for the first time in history with 2 athletes into the 2024 Olympic Games and 2 into the Paralympic Games.
Taekwondo has enjoyed much success this year at the 2024 Olympics and Paralympics. Membership interest has also jumped to an estimated 26 clubs across the country as the code looks forward to 2025. The highlight of this year's domestic competition was the Korean Ambassadors Cup, where over 17 clubs from around the country participated, a successful event supported by the Korean Embassy in PNG. The highlight of the year was the Paris Olympic Games 2024. PNG qualified 2 athletes, Gibson Mara in the 80 kg and Kevin Kastman in the 68 kg division. Despite the athletes never been to a World Championship nor any major event leading up to the Olympics, both athletes represented the country to the best of their abilities. The Federation looks forward to more domestic competitions to lift the standard of the sport in the new year. Susan Oreape, TVWAN Sports.
And that ends the news update. Do join us at 6 tonight for the main news bulletin.